It's July 31st, 2018. I'm on Lake Winnebago today. There's been a pretty good perch bite going on. Not really a perch fisherman. I did it quite a bit when I was a kid, but since I've got my boat, I don't really go perch fishing much. I mean, obviously you catch a few perch now and then, but as far as targeting perch, it's not something that I've ever really done in Winnebago. But I thought since there's a pretty good bite and I haven't had a whole lot of success with walleyes lately, that I just give the perch a try. I went over to Abrams Reef and I saw another boat. It was interesting because the boat had probably 25 or 30 birds around it. The birds are there kind of waiting for you to kill a fish. Sometimes the fish swallows the hook a little deep, and getting it out, the fish doesn't survive. You throw it back, and then the birds get a meal out of it, which as far as call of nature, that's pretty cool. But 25 birds is a little too Alfred Hitchcock for me. So it was really interesting. I saw the birds over there, and I'm thinking, I'm glad they're there. And then I caught two sheep's head, and as I'm trying to unhook the sheep's head, since he had swallowed the hook a little deep, the birds must have just known what was going on, because I got the 25 birds coming at me. I have to admit, it was a little freaky. I was fairly young when I saw the Alfred Hitchcock movie Birds, but it did leave an impression, and I wouldn't say I have a fear of birds, but when you see 25 coming at you and over your head with a very keen interest in a fish that you just caught, it was a little unnerving for me. Once I kind of dealt with the fish and that was done, I didn't want to deal with the birds, so I took off. I went to the east side of the lake. I had some information about a spot where other people had caught some fish, so I thought I'd give that a try. When I got over there, it was obviously I wasn't the only one with that information, because I saw maybe 10 boats on the lake and 8 of them were in this spot. It must be a fairly good perch spot. The information I got is you want to find a transition with about 9 to 11 feet of water. You're looking for, mud to sand or mud to gravel transition. It's fairly easy to find on my depth finder. If this is your first time here, I'm an avid fisherman. I live in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, and I fish Lake Winnebago as much as I can. In an effort to be a better fisherman, I'm documenting 100 fishing trips and posting the results on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button if you want to follow along. If you have feedback or question, feel free to leave it in the comment section. Hit the like button as much as you can. It really helps the channel, and I'd appreciate it. Birds are kind of a common occurrence when you're anchored in Lake Winnebago. Generally, there's enough fishermen where you're only dealing with 2 or 3 birds, so the idea of 25 birds is extreme and doesn't really happen all that often. So the technique I'm using today is called dead sticking. So you start with a medium to medium light fishing rod, and people do it a little differently, but the way I do it is tie a bare hook on a fluorocarbon leader, probably 4 to 6 pounds, and then I put a split shot about 6 to 10 inches above the hook, and then I bait the hook with a little piece of night crawler, and I put it directly under the boat, so the fishing pole is resting flat on the gunnel of the boat. And then I try to find the bottom, as close to the bottom as I can. Sometimes I let the bait rest on the bottom. Sometimes I'll bring it up 6 inches. Sometimes I'll bring it up a foot, depending on kind of what the fish are trying to tell me. So then you just kind of wait for the fish to come and find your hook. And then sometimes you get a decent sized bite, but generally you just get a little tap tap, and you have to really be watching the tip of your rod for the tap tap. And the idea is that as soon as you get the tap tap, you try to set the hook. And find the playlist with the dead sticking videos if you want more information about how other people do it. So all in all, it was a really good night. It's just beautiful weather out there when Lake Winnebago is like that. It's just serene. I really like being out there. There were no really bugs to speak of, and other than the birds, there were really no pests. So it was a really nice night. Had a pretty good action. Caught the 6 perch and a bunch of sheep's head, and I was just happy to be out there. So this was trip 66 out of 100 of my effort to be a better fisherman. Hit the subscribe button to follow along. No walleyes today. I really wasn't going for them. I caught 6 eater perch, and looking forward to that meal. And with this information, let's get out and fish.